Let me introduce you and then you can get started. I'll go away from the stage and then the stage is all yours. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the day one of Global Virtual Summit 2024. We are here with Bilkis Khan. Bilkis Khan, let me introduce her. Bilkis Khan, founder of Vision Works, business and mindset coach, is the author of Digital Synergy, Navigating the Frontier of UX in Marketing for Impactful Results. Bilkis brings international work experience from South Africa, Cape Town, China, and France. With a background as global content strategist at Binance, Bilkis offers a unique blend of expertise and insight to empower individuals and business in achieving their goals. So here you go. We are presenting Bilkis Khan in front of you. Her topic is empowering tomorrow's leaders. So wish you all the very best, Bilkis.
Thank you so much. Okay, well, hello everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here, first of all. Um, 1 second, sorry, I'm just making sure everything is working on my end. Okay, so it's a pleasure to be here today, and I've had the opportunity to connect with so many passionate and driven individuals, entrepreneurs, and leaders, and it's truly inspiring to see what everyone is bringing to this event, the energy. So I'd like to give a big thank you to the WIN, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, a WIN Global Conference team for a incredible platform where like-minded professionals can, come together and to learn, grow, and share. It's not often filled with, so many people who are committed to innovation and transformation. So let's go. Let's see the next slide. So as we mentioned, I will be presenting on the psychology behind navigating technology. For those who don't know me, my name is Bilkis and I'm the founder, as I've just been introduced. I specialize in helping entrepreneurs and businesses align with their brand strategies with real growth world opportunities. My focus is on helping you navigate the complexities of scaling your brand while overcoming the mindset challenges that often arise in high pressure environments. Now, what is advertising and how much power does it have over us? So, excuse me, I just want to make sure that I am on the right. So, did you know that the average person sees between 4,000 to 10,000 ads a day? From the moment we wake up, we're being told what to wear, what to eat, and even who to be. Now, think about that number for a moment. Every second, thousands of messages are trying to shape our thoughts, our feelings, and even our behaviors. But what if I told you that with the right mindset, you could take control and stop letting these messages dictate your life? Now, don't get me wrong, I support social media because, of course, I come from that background. But advertising is everywhere. It's not just about selling products anymore. It's about shaping perceptions, behaviors, and even our beliefs. So from billboards to social media, these ads infiltrate every corner of our lives, telling us what we should want, how we should live, and who we should aspire to be. These messages often seep into our subconscious without us even realizing it, subtly influencing how we think and how we behave. So, to recap, it's our perceptions, our behaviors, and our beliefs. So, let me share a bit of my own experience with you. Like many of you, I spend a fair amount of time on social media. On socials, I log around 4 to 5 hours a week, which breaks down to about 30 minutes a day. It's easy to scroll mindlessly through curated feeds, and without even realizing it, I'm exposed to dozens, if not hundreds, of ads within that time. And that's where emotional manipulation creeps in. Social media isn't just a platform for connection, it's a playground for advertisers to subtly influence our decisions. But I found ways to balance this influence with more cognitively stimulating activities. For example, I spend around 20 minutes a day reading book summaries of educational books, ebooks to be exact. Now, how does this help? It sharpens my critical thinking and challenges my mind to consider different perspectives. It acts as a mental exercise, helping me stay sharp and avoid falling into the trap of passive consumption. So, another key practice that I've been journaling, whether that's digital journaling or having an actual notebook. I dedicate 20 to 24 minutes a day to digital journaling, where I reflect on my thoughts, my feelings, and my decisions. This habit allows me to process the emotional impact of social media and advertising, making sure I'm consciously aware of how these external influences are affecting me. So, these practices help create a balance between the emotional and the logical sides of my brain. So, how does connecting to device usage and our subconscious habits help us? Let's see. Beyond the time I spend on social media, I've been tracking how often I reach for my devices. That is my laptop and my phone specifically. On average, I pick up my phone 80, 53, or 59 times a day. That adds up to 563, 371, or 413 times a week. Meanwhile, I'm only picking up my laptop about 3, 5, or 7 times a day. That's 26, 37, or 53 pickups per week. This difference is huge, and it really got me thinking, why am I reaching for my phone so much? So, each time we pick up our phones, we're exposing ourselves to external influences, whether it's ads, notifications, or curated content. Our phones feed us information constantly, which often dictates our behavior and even our moods without us fully realizing it. So, in contrast, when I pick up my laptop, I'm usually engaging in more focused, intentional work. The phone is reactive, while the laptop feels more deliberate, just as I'm doing right now. So, this brings me to a very crucial question. Why am I doing this? Every time I pick up my phone, I've started asking myself this question. Am I acting out of habit, or is it out of boredom? Is this action intentional, or is my subconscious driving it? So, pausing to ask this question helps me become more aware of what's motivating my actions. So, as future leaders, it's important to recognize that we're all susceptible to these subconscious habits, especially when we're passively consuming content. By being mindful of our actions and by asking ourselves, why am I doing this? We can strengthen our critical thinking and take back control of our decisions. So let me get to the next one. How about cognitive and emotional appeals in advertising? So, advertisers use two main strategies to influence us. The first one being hard sell. The hard sell focuses on providing facts, the benefits, and the features. This is what we see every day. It appeals to our logic. It is what we want to hear. Think of an ad for a tech gadget. that compares the specs to help you make a rational decision, or an insurance ad that shows you clear-cut savings. Morati et al., a researcher, refers to this as a cognitive appeal. It targets the logical part of our brain, encouraging us to weigh our options and make what seems like a sensible choice. So, what is the next method? The soft sell, on the other hand, this approach appeals to our emotions. These ads don't rely on facts or features, but instead, they create a connection through imagery, music, and storytelling that touches on moods, dreams, and feelings. They appeal to our emotions in ways that resonate deeply with us, often bypassing our logic entirely. So picture a family enjoying a sunset on vacation, or a powerful story of an athlete overcoming obstacles. These might be great examples of how ads tap into our emotional experiences, and these ads make us feel something, not just think something. So how does scrolling affect our emotions or our logic? Let me explain from my own experience. When I'm scrolling through my social feed, the emotional appeals hit hard, whether it's a beautifully created travel ad or a celebrity promoting the latest fashion trend. These ads are designed to bypass logic and trigger an emotional response. At first, I may not need those new sneakers, for example, but after seeing them in a perfectly shot ad, suddenly I want them. But when I switch to ebooks, for example, the cognitive side of my brain gets activated. And then I'm engaging with content that stimulates logical thinking and challenges me to look at things critically. So we're still scrolling, but we're scrolling for different purposes. And this is what sharpens my mind and helps me make more deliberate, thoughtful decisions. So let's think of an example. Consider the last ad that stuck with you. Why was this? Maybe it wasn't the product features that got you, it was how the ad made you feel. Perhaps it tapped into your emotions or your aspirations, your desires for success, or even your happiness. This is what Day, another researcher, suggests when he talks about how ads appeal to our ego and our identity. So, as leaders, it's critical to recognize that these strategies, not just because they affect your buying decisions, but because they influence how others behave around you and not just yourselves. Understanding the difference between cognitive and emotional appeals allows you to navigate these influences better. The more you understand how both logic and emotions are used to influence your decisions, the more empowered you'll be to resist the digital manipulation. So let's take a look at advertising's role in creating meaning and perception. So, what exactly is its goals and objectives? Advertising uses imagery to align products with our ego ideals, meaning brands position themselves to reflect who we want to become and not necessarily who we are. For instance, luxury brands like Rolex or Gucci are associated with wealth and exclusivity, while brands like Patagonia or Tesla are linked to environmental consciousness and innovation. So the products we buy aren't just functionality, or they aren't just about functionality. They reflect who we think we are, or more likely, who we want to be. So how does this exactly tie into brand loyalty? Now, if we think about it, this is how brands build long-lasting relationships with consumers. It's not just about selling a product. It's about fitting into the consumer's lifestyle, their dreams, and their values. So you could take any brand and make it fit into somebody's life. Take Apple as an example. They don't just sell phones or laptops. They sell creativity, innovation, and individuality. Their products become part of a user's self-expression, forming a deep emotional connection. So think of a brand you constantly return to. Why is that? It's likely not just about the quality of the product, but the meaning the brand adds to your life. Brands that create this emotional connection or bond build loyalty and trust, which is crucial for any business or leader. So, as leaders, you must understand how to create these meaningful relationships, not just for consumers, but for your teams and communities. Let's see. So, how does resilience in navigating emotional manipulation apply? Let's take a look. So, advertising is most effective when we are emotionally vulnerable. When we're stressed, for example, distracted, or in heightened emotional states, we're more susceptible to emotional manipulation. So, research shows that emotional appeals are more effective when our critical thinking is low. For example, like when we're scrolling through our phones or social media late at night, or watching TV after a long, stressful day. Interestingly, studies have found that ads work best when we're paying less attention. Now, why is that? This is because we're not actively thinking. Our the emotional content sinks in more deeply because of our low state. Our emotions are triggered, leading to quicker, more impulsive decisions. So the image on the left, written a behavioral response. This image highlights how impulsive behavior increases with more ad exposure, while mindful behavior decreases. So let's take a look at a few key points of the graph that I would like to highlight is the mindfulness and the impulsiveness. The impulsive behavior line with the red dots right above, you'll see as ad exposure increases, impulsive behavior also tends to increase. Now, what this reflects is how emotional appeals in advertising lead to quick, emotionally driven responses or decisions, like purchasing without thinking critically. Ads often use strategies like time pressure, limited time offer, or emotional storytelling, heartwarming, inspiring messages, which can bypass the logical thinking and trigger impulsive reactions. So you're not going to question why you need this or if you need it. You're simply going to make the purchase immediately. So the mindful behavior line, the declining line, as ad exposure increases, the likelihood of mindful reflection decisions decreases. So, for instance, when individuals are overwhelmed with constant advertising, their ability to think critically diminishes, especially if they aren't consciously filtering the content. You're just scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. It's like, oh, I see an amazing ad. This looks great. I need it. Or I want to take this vacation. Mindful behavior would include questioning the need for a product, analyzing the value, or even asking whether the emotional appeal is genuine or manipulative. So, why do I feel this way about this product? One of the key ways I've built resilience is through my daily journaling habit. So, as I mentioned, I spend 20 to 24 minutes a day reflecting on my thoughts, my feelings, and my experiences, which has helped me become more mindful of how ads affect my emotions. So, for example, after seeing an ad for a product I feel drawn to, I might journal about it or think about it. And why do I have this pull? Why am I feeling this sudden urge? Is it because I really need the product? Or is it because the ad triggered an emotional response? So, this practice has allowed me to recognize the emotional manipulation at play and resist impulsive decisions. So, I would like to share a quick childhood story and how this compares to kids these days. See, when I was a kid, we had phones, but we barely used them. And most of our time was spent outside creating our own games or solving problems or even going to school and spending time out on the field. The critical thinking and creativity that came from those activities helped us grow, but we didn't even realize it, or we don't, or we never will. But today, kids are growing up with screens as a primary source of entertainment. Their exposure to advertising and constant digital stimulation starts at an even younger age. And instead of using their imagination or building their own experiences, they are bombarded with curated content that often manipulates their emotions. So, are they actually thinking for themselves? This is why it's so important for us as leaders or as parents to be role models. We need to show the next generation that it's possible to unplug, to think for themselves, and to engage their creativity and critical thinking in meaningful ways. Our leadership doesn't just influence the adults around us, it influences the minds of the next generation. So, so to protect yourself from this emotional manipulation, building resilience is key. And how do you do that? You start by practicing mindfulness, by paying attention to how ads are making you feel and recognize when your emotions are being triggered. Are you happy? Are you overly ecstatic? Or are you suddenly feeling sad because of something you've just read? Ask yourself, why do I feel this way about this product or this message? Is it my true emotion or is it the ad talking? By learning to identify these emotional triggers, you take control and make decisions that are aligned with your true values, not just emotions. So today, so how do you build resilience? Well, you need to strengthen your mental resilience in leadership and understanding marketing. In today's fast-paced, high-pressure environments, maintaining mental resilience is key to thriving in leadership and marketing. So, what I am presenting here today is a course that I spent this weekend building just for you. This course combines practical business strategies with mindfulness and psychological insights, helping you develop the tools to navigate stress, make better decisions, and enhance both your professional and personal well being. And throughout this course, you'll be able to master your emotional resilience, enhance your critical thinking, thrive in high pressure environments, and lead with confidence. These strategies will help you to manage stress and uncertainty, but also to stay focused under pressure. So, these techniques for nurturing mental resilience allows you to maintain clarity and confidence in the face of challenges. By strengthening your mental resilience, as well as the core skills that go into combining and getting that mental resilience up, you'll not only improve your leadership and marketing abilities, but also enhance your overall well-being. So, what is this course? In the fast evolving world of leadership and marketing, it is 4 weeks of in-depth learning modules, or at your own pace. It is mastering mental resilience in marketing strategies for thriving in high pressure environments. I myself come from a high pressure environment, so this is based on my own personal experience, and I would like to help you. It's 4 high quality videos, exclusive reading, one-on-one coaching, or private community to help you make sound judgment in complex environments. I'm gonna go straight to the next slide as I don't have a lot of time. So just for the win attendees, I value 7.5. The launch, as I mentioned, I just created it over this weekend, 2.4, but I'm not going to charge you that. You are going to get it for a special value of $9.97 just for the win attendees, because I value your time and appreciation and the empowerment you've brought to me. So as I close my session, critical thinking to resist manipulation. Critical thinking to resist manipulation. This is what we need to create a mindful practice and limit our passive scrolling, to cross-check claims with evidence-backed resources, to make sure that we're not just clicking on a buy now or going through the entire ad process, but asking yourself, why do I feel this way about this product? So even if I don't see you in my course, or I would like you to go away with this message and to make sure that you ask yourself, why do I feel this way about this product or this message? And to make sure that you start implementing these mindful strategies to take control back of your decision-making process and your thoughts. So one way you can start doing that is by seeing how often you are picking up your phone. If you don't have the time to do that, it's a slow, mindful process of just asking myself, why am I picking up my phone? Do I need it? Can I do this particular item? Can I check my emails or these messages on my laptop instead of my phone? Track your own device habits, which leads to more awareness and ultimately more control over your decisions, your emotions, and ultimately your time. So I'd like to leave you with the final message to create your own future. And as Peter Drucker states, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Master your mind to lead confidently, and make sure that you're balancing logic and emotion in your decision making. Thank you for attending. And if you have any further questions or would like to explore opportunities to work together, please don't hesitate to reach out. Okay.
Thank you so much, Bilkis, for the great energy and enthusiasm. It's really make a huge difference. So yes, I know we are strict on timings. Thank you so much for your cooperation with us. So here is the question from our audience. Okay, the question is cognitive and emotional appeals in advertising or powerful tools. What advice would you give to new entrepreneurs about how to balance these appeals when promoting their brands?
Oh, that's a very good question. So if you're promoting a brand, it really is dependent on the product, right? It depends on what the brand is ultimately, what is the vision of the brand? So you always have to keep the vision of your brand in mind. And this is how you start making your decisions, right? If your vision is to create more impact or for sustainability, for example, this will lead you to your decision-making process and whether you need to take a more emotional appeal to it or more logical appeal to it. Because, for instance, if it's more sustainable, you would need a nice balance of some data, some numbers to back up your sustainable efforts, like what is happening in the O2 zone. Do you have those numbers? How are you going to reduce carbon dioxide? How are you going to plant the number of trees, for example? You would need a good balance of that. But if it's for, let's say, a travel ad or an agency, or just going on to a resort, for example, you don't necessarily see numbers in those. That is more emotional appeal because it's targeting your aspirations, your dreams, your desires. So you'll just see a nice image of, the beach or tranquility or trees or the mountains. And that is how you make your decision. So always look at the company's vision and then start your decision making process from there. If you don't have a vision, and if you don't trust your own brand's vision, it's going to be impossible for you to make any decisions or to balance out the emotional and logical appeals. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, you have answered the question. That was really a great talk. Thank you so much for sharing your great presentation with Global Virtual Summit 2024. So I want to encourage the next speaker sessions as well. So please encourage the next speaker session by sharing your questions and sharing some love. So please join our next speaker, Jennifer Halal. Bye bye.